welcome back to my channel. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Divyanka and I'm a PharmD, and here on this channel I share tips and tricks about things relating to pharmacy, career, professionalism, and much more. My main goal on this channel is to provide value for you guys via information through these videos, so I really do hope all of my videos are helpful. If you guys like the information that you guys are getting from this channel, please do subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you guys are notified every single time I post, which is every single Monday. Now today we're talking about pharmacy career options. The Doctor of Pharmacy degree, or better known as the PharmD, is becoming more and more well known, and that means that every year there are more pharmacists graduating nationally. Now I feel like when you say that you're a pharmacist to someone, many people only think about one or two things that a pharmacist can do and become in relation to their career. There are so many different types of careers and roles that you can pursue once you graduate with your PharmD. So today we're going to talk about what those options are, what each of those options means, what type of work you do within each of the options, and hopefully I can shed some light again on the options that are available for PharmDs. And hopefully this is helpful for you whether you're looking to go into pharmacy school and you're just looking way ahead to see if this is even something you're interested in, or if you are in pharmacy school and you're looking to gain opportunities within different career fields, or if you're close to graduation and you're assessing what you really want to do with your career once you graduate. In terms of the information about what you can do in your career, I always think that it's better to start as soon as possible. So even if you haven't even entered pharmacy school, but this is something you're thinking about, I do commend you for looking up this information, coming across this video, and taking it upon yourself to learn about the different career options, because again, I think the earlier that you know about it, the earlier that you educate yourself about these options, the more informed of a decision you can take both during and after pharmacy school. And I do think it really does make a difference when you know what you want to go into potentially after you graduate, because the experiences you gain within pharmacy school, you can really tailor to what you want after pharmacy school. So anyways, I'm going to stop blabbering in this intro. Let's just get right into the different types of careers that you can enter as a pharmacist. Now, when looking into the categories, I'd say that there are three main categories that everyone usually thinks about, and of course there are more options than that, but these three categories include being a clinical pharmacist, a community pharmacist, and an industry pharmacist. Now let's talk about community first. This is kind of, I think, what most people think of initially when you say I'm a pharmacist, and it's better known as retail. So a community pharmacist works at a retail or an independent pharmacy. So these can encompass your chain pharmacies such as CVS, Walgreens, Walmart, Costco, etc., or independent pharmacies. So in your town, you might see independent pharmacies that are, again, not a big chain, but they are a pharmacy and they're independently owned. And that is, again, also a type of community pharmacy. Community pharmacists are actually seen as the first line in healthcare because you have direct patient contact. Every single day you are dispensing and giving medications to patients. And as a pharmacist in a community setting, not only are you dispensing medications, but you are able to counsel your patients and share information on medication, on disease states, and any information that may be helpful to your patient. Community pharmacists provide insight on over-the-counter medications as well. And again, as a PharmD graduate, you can actually work in a retail pharmacy or you can own one. And managing an independent pharmacy also does require having a PharmD background. So even though that's just one career option, you can actually do a multitude of things within community pharmacy. Now, the second most well-known career option is being a clinical pharmacist. And so this generally includes being a pharmacist at various health clinics or hospitals in their internal pharmacy, or as a specialty pharmacist within a specific floor, such as the ICU, the ER, the surgical unit, etc. Of course, clinical pharmacists are such an integral part of the healthcare system. They are part of the healthcare team that cares and makes decisions for the patient at a hospital, and usually pharmacists work alongside doctors to, again, provide best patient care. Again, that's just a very quick highlight of being a clinical pharmacist, and within being a clinical pharmacist, you can do a multitude of different things. Depending on what kind of clinic and what kind of hospital you work for, your specializations might be different. Nowadays, most clinics and hospitals do actually require you to do a residency, so this can be a 1 or 2 year residency after you graduate with your PharmD to serve as training years to, again, working as a clinical pharmacist. And the idea is just like doctors having to do residencies, you get an additional 1 or 2 years of training within the institution to further your career. Within these residencies, you can actually do different specialties. So if you'd like to specialize in cardiovascular medicine or oncology, emergency medicine, and a lot more, many specialties exist, and I'm not going to dive deep into them, but this is where you would get those specialties through a residency and then work as the clinical pharmacist in a hospital or a clinic. Now, the third most well-known career choice for pharmacists is industry pharmacy. As many of you probably know, that's what I'm interested in. And to give you a quick overview, this basically means that you're working somewhere along the drug development process. So more and more PharmDs are working within the pharmaceutical industry, and nowadays you can actually see PharmDs within almost every single department in a pharmaceutical company. So again, just as an overview, pharmaceutical companies work to create a drug and get it approved by the FDA. The drug development process can take 20 to 30 years, and all the different aspects within the drug development process are usually handled by a pharmaceutical company. Now, the industry is definitely a broad umbrella. This can encompass pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies, agencies such as contract research organizations that work with pharmaceutical companies, and a multitude of different types of organizations. And you can find PharmDs working in every realm, but again, when you're a pharmacist working on the industry side of things, you're working somewhere along the drug development process. Now, there's a bunch of different roles that a pharmacist can hold and a bunch of different types of work, which I'm going to dive into in another video because it's just a lot to go over. But this is definitely a different type of job in comparison to your community pharmacist or your clinical pharmacist. You're not really interacting with patients on a daily basis. Again, it's a very different type of work. But in terms of my own opinion, I find it more fulfilling. It's something that I'm really interested in. So if you're interested in learning more about it, I'll definitely have more videos about industry pharmacists. Now, again, I would say that those are the 3 main categories that people know that PharmDs go into post-grad, but there are actually a lot of other options. So I'm just going to quickly highlight those options. And again, I'm not going to go into heavy detail in regards to these options, but I just want to expose you to them, and I'll make separate videos going in depth about each of these options. And of course, you can also search for yourself once you know that these are other options. So one of the other options is actually working for a governmental agency. Now, if you're in the US, this is most likely the FDA. Now, you may know this, but the FDA in the US is the agency that approves drugs from pharmaceutical companies to be marketed and sold and used within our communities. So if you work for a governmental agency, you're, again, not working directly with patients, and you're kind of working on the other side of things, but that does also require therapeutic knowledge and the knowledge we gain during pharmacy school, and you can be very, very valuable to the FDA and other governmental agencies if you're working as a pharmacist. This is definitely something people don't necessarily think about. When we do our rotations, doing a rotation at the FDA is actually an option. So if your school provides that, and if that's something you're interested in, definitely take up that opportunity. It's something that you might not get elsewhere. And again, it's definitely a unique option in terms of careers for PharmDs, and I think it can be really, really interesting. Now, another career option that many people don't think about is managed care. So in general, just to kind of give you an overview of what managed care is, it's basically the planning and the initiative of integrating healthcare in our communities in a cost-efficient manner. So something that you might work on if you're working in the managed care field would be insurance. Again, working in a way to make it possible for our communities, our patients, to acquire the healthcare that is available to our communities. So the work in this field can include optimizing drug therapies, developing the drug formularies for hospitals and clinics to use, evaluating different therapeutic protocols that, again, institutions and hospitals have in place, patient consultation, and finding out ways to reduce doctor visits and optimize healthcare in our communities. So again, that was a very, very broad overview, and I myself don't have a deep understanding of managed care, but it is very essential in our healthcare system, and it's kind of that bridge between our healthcare system and actually providing the healthcare to our patients. So as a pharmacist, you understand exactly the healthcare that our patients need, and then you work on finding a way to get it to the patients in the most optimized way possible. The next option that many people don't think about is home healthcare. So there's a big chunk of our communities and our populations that actually need healthcare at their homes. Of course, this might be more of the older generation, our geriatric patients, but again, regardless of who we're talking about, there is a percentage of our population that needs this. So you can be an expert in this type of medicine and being the pharmacist making medications available for patients at home. So pharmacists working in this field are providing medications, a lot of times IV infusions, pain medications, etc. to patients, again, in their home setting. As a pharmacist in this field, you are also responsible for having patients. You would monitor their progress. And again, just like you would be monitoring and visiting your patients in a hospital, you are doing the same, but the setting is different. It is in these patients' homes, and that definitely does require a different type of expertise. The next career option that people don't think about very often is pharmacoeconomics. Now, this is actually a category that's growing a lot, and the demand for pharmacists specializing in pharmacoeconomics is definitely increasing. So as the name kind of suggests, this is a PharmD who specializes in understanding the economics, the financial profile of medications, of healthcare in general. And if you specialize in pharmacoeconomics, you can actually be an asset to a multitude of different agencies and companies, such as pharmaceutical companies, to really understand the supply and demand and the financial landscape of medications of either the company itself, their competitors, their drug, etc. You can be of use to hospitals and institutions, again, for the same reason. You can be of use to the FDA, managed care, etc. You can really be utilized in a multitude of different ways. So if you're interested in the economics of pharma and how the financial profiles of drugs do work, this might be something you really want to look into, because again, the demand for pharmacists with this specialization is definitely increasing, and so this might be a way to set yourself apart from the rest of your colleagues, and it could definitely help prove your value. Now, the last category for career options that many people don't think of is actually education. Once you become a PharmD, you can actually be a professor, and actually at my university, a lot of our professors actually work part-time at our school and part-time within either a hospital, a clinic, and they split their time between the two. So this doesn't necessarily have to be your one and only career option. Sorry if the camera moved there, my camera actually died, so I had to switch out the battery. But back to what we were talking about. Once you do graduate with your PharmD, you can actually be a professor, and this can be full-time or part-time as an adjunct professor at either the university you went to or the university that's maybe affiliated with your institution where you work at, or just another institution in general. But being a professor is a great option once you graduate. So those are generally all the career options for PharmDs to go into once you graduate with your PharmD. And again, I only briefly mentioned all of them and hopefully provided you with some insight into what each option truly is. But to understand more the type of work for each category, I would say that definitely do your research. I'll definitely try to do my part and create separate videos for the career options that I know a good amount about, so I can share that information with you guys. But I definitely want you guys to know that there are misconceptions about what a pharmacist can do, and there's a lot more you can do with your degree than maybe what you think. So definitely do your research. You don't necessarily have to go into the well-known 3 categories of careers for pharmacists. Those options might not honestly be for you, but I really want you to know that there are other options. I really do think that everyone can find their niche and find what they're interested in with a PharmD. There are many options, and I'm really passionate about industry pharmacy. That's what I'm pursuing in my career, and it's what I'd like to see myself in for, again, the many years to come. But that does not discount any other type of pharmacy. There are many career options, and we need pharmacists in all of the different realms. So I hope that this kind of gives you insight into the different options there are out there. There are definitely more that I've missed that, again, you can research. If you guys have any follow-up questions, go ahead and either ask them in the comments below or email me. I will definitely respond to you. I really hope this was at least eye-opening, if not helpful, and provided you with some information that you didn't know before. That's it for this video. Super quick, super easy. Thank you so much for watching, and you guys will see me in my next video.